You think she's a good girl, but once you get to know her, you realize she's everything. She's crazy, she's funny, she's honest, and you'll never know what she'll do next.
Oh, did you come back again another week? I'm so excited to have you here. I want to introduce Michelle Thompson. Michelle, how did we meet each other?
It was in a local event, Speakpreneur.
Oh my goodness, another person that I met at the Speakpreneur event to become a speaker, an amazing speaker. And of course, when I say the word speaker, I know you're thinking of my producer, James Henderson, behind the camera, who was the president of the Florida chapter of the Florida Speakers Association.
The South Florida chapter of the National Speakers Association.
Yes. You'll get to see James a little bit later. Anyway, I want you to say hello to everybody here. We're all excited to be here again today for you. And I wanted to share Michelle's message. She has an amazing message of transformation, which she has gone through. And do you want to share a little bit of the adversity? I mean, just so that people can find out if they relate to you or not right now, before they change the channel.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's been a great journey for me. You know, there's been a lot of different adversities that have shown up in my life at different points. At one point, I had to stop drinking. I also
and you did that recently, didn't you?
It's been a few years. No, it's been about 16 years now. And I went back to school after 25 years undergrad. I went to back to get my MBA 25 years later, which was just an amazing process and really just a really incredible thing. I did a move coming to Florida, and that was a big transformation from North Carolina. I had a lot of limiting beliefs about my physical fitness and my weight. I was 50 pounds heavier than what I am right now. And I had just made my mind up that, I'm getting older, my metabolism's slower. This is just life. I'm going to have to deal with it. And that I have learned is absolutely not true. And there was a whole process that I went through, overcoming that. I was never a gym person. And I now have a regular fitness routine.
Where do you work out now? What do you do? I want to know, because I'm looking for an idea here.
I do Orange Theory. I love that program. There's a coach there.
That's a tough one too.
Yes. It's and I love being able to get the cardio, the rowing, and then the reps. So anyway, that's just clicked for me.
Wow.
And so I do that now regularly.
How often do you do that?
4 times a week.
Yes. I'm looking for ideas.
Yeah.
Just want to know.
Yes. I have gone through, in terms of relationships, I had 2 failed marriages, a number of different boyfriends along the way. And today I finally have a partner. He and I have been together going on 4 years. And he's really wonderful. And that whole process of opening myself back up to love again has been an amazing transformation.
I mean, I just started to feel like I was going to cry just thinking of my question, but I was going to ask you, because I think it's honestly wonderful that you've had so many relationships. That makes me tear up, because I haven't. I've been single for 15 years, and I think of people that have had the opportunity to be married so many times or have relationships. I'm just wondering, I'm thinking about it, what's the difference here? I don't know what the difference is, but for some reason I've been destined to stay alone. Do you have any tips or anything? Since you're a transformational life coach.
Yes.
I might as well get a little bit in here.
Absolutely. So I know for me, there were things within myself that I needed to work on. It's that whole thought of, be the person, be the partner that you want to be with. And I had my own, just things from growing up, a number of different things that I had to look within myself for some healing and becoming that person that's a good partner. And so that took time, and it's stuff that, it was a process for me. And a lot of that process was along the way figuring out, I found out that this really didn't work for me. And so now I know that. And then there was something else, and it's like, this is not going to work for me either. And now I know that. So it was, along the way, picking up different nuggets until that right person came into my life. And it was timing. I think we were both ready ready for
How long were you
something.
single?
20 years.
You were single for 20 years?
Well, not living with anyone. Yeah, just dating. Yeah.
All right,
And
that gives me incentive. I've been single for 15, so that gives me incentive. I'm like, okay. I'm like, because I think I'm the person I want to find so far, but I'm like, maybe not yet. I don't know. Gotta work. Things to work on, I guess. But anyway, well, so you said that you got dry. You stopped drinking.
Yes.
Why did you do that? Tell me that.
My life was just really kind of on a spiral. I had, burned up relationships in my life at that point. So I had been twice divorced. I was a single mom. That's, family relationships weren't going well. It just, everything was at a low in my life. And I knew that drinking was holding me back. It was keeping me from being that person that I was meant to be. And I, went through with a lot of support and help. I got through those days and I have for the last 16 years, not picked up a drink. And that was really foundational for me as I talk about these other transformations that have happened. That had to happen first before I could truly be open to explore and bring into my life these other things. So that was a key thing for me.
That's interesting because I've been thinking about it. I'm not a quitter, so I don't want to quit drinking. But I am severely drinking much less, and it's just because of a health issue that when I moved to Naples, I became adrenally fatigued, just completely fatigued. And the way you solve that is by lessening the alcohol content you consume and also by caffeine, lessening the caffeine. So I have been seriously thinking about like how much I drink, because I really do notice it plays it affects me how I react all week, just drinking on the weekend. So that's why I was kind of interested to find out what made you make that choice.
Yeah. It was, I think, really getting to a low point in my life where I just this has got to change. This has got to go. And I have seen.
I can see why you choose that really now.
It really does open up, kind of lifts a fog, if you will, it's just a more clear-eyed as you go about and bringing things, the choices you make in your life. And as you do look to, for those things that what makes me happy? What is it, that thing for me that gives me fulfillment? Just being, having that clarity as you move forward.
And you said you have a partner now,
Yes.
a special partner now. Does your partner drink alcohol?
He does not.
Is that a conscious choice for you when you chose to date him, that you're like, okay, well, he doesn't drink, I can date him now?
No, it wasn't, because I had dated guys that drank, and that was fine with me. So, so it just happened that, he was kind of in the same place where it didn't work for him either. And so, yeah.
Because I noticed there's a lot of people here in Naples that choose not to drink. So that's interesting. Okay, so I wanted to hear your love story too, real quick before we get started here. I know you met this man and he changed your life, turned you upside down. Tell me, where'd you see him?
Wow, we met. It was after I moved. So again, when I moved to Naples in 2020, my aunt and uncle lived down here. That's who I knew. So I was coming here following my heart, completely 100% following my heart. The job I had, I was working from home because it was COVID, and I was just like, I'm going to be in Naples, and if they have to call us back into the office, I'll just figure it out then about the job thing. But, this is where I want to be. So in that process, I was very intentional about, networking, going out, finding events going on, meeting up with people, having different friend groups. I was very intentional about bringing those social relationships into my life. So we met, through some mutual friends at an event. And for the first year that we knew each other, we were friends, and we'd hang out, we'd see each other, and it was just kind of a casual thing. And then one day he texted me and said something about having dinner. And I was like, what? He must have dinner, like, what is this? And anyway, and things just kind of went off from there. Our first official date, we went and watched the sunset on the beach, and I had a couple of subs, and it was just nice. We spent hours on the beach just talking. And so we actually dated. My experience with men and dating, it's always been this kind of, if you meet a guy, you're just going to move in and, and just everything all at once, type of thing. And it was not that with him. We dated for 2 years. It was truly, you have your place, I have my place. We're going to date. things come up along the way that we had to work through. I mean, it certainly hadn't been perfect, but we both have had the desire to make it work. And so that's what we've done.
I'm so happy for you.
That's how I got here.
And you said you've been single for 20 years before you met him. So that gives me hope. 15 years. Still bumping.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So I heard you say connection is healing, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about that.
Yes, that is so. One thing that has been run true for me in my life is that as things happen, I cannot do this alone. I need support from friends, from family, from, maybe it's a therapist, or maybe it's, there's a number of different people, whether they're in the professional world or just like those close personal people. I need that. And, no matter, it's not a sign of weakness to need that support from someone else. It's, I think, just the opposite. It's a sign of strength that you can draw on that energy and that wisdom. So that has been key with all of the transformations that's gone on in my life is, that connection and the interconnectivity with others as things happen. But I don't remember exactly what your original question was.
Well, I just asked you about connection and healing, but remember then we were talking before you started here today about existing to reclaiming, and you were going to tell us about that too.
Absolutely. So, I feel like there is a difference in life of just kind of existing, being, this is life, this is where I am, kind of like what I was with my weight, this is just where I am and what I got.
I got to get used to it. That's just the way I am.
That's it. That's it. There's a difference between that and taking your power back, reclaiming the things that you want to do something different. Do it. Absolutely. There is an immense power of choice. And, you can choose to sit back and say, this is the way it is. Or you can choose to say, I'm going to take a step in the direction that I want to go. It's like the life that you want to have is just outside your comfort zone. You're not going to get there just doing things the way you've always done them. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So it's like being willing, hitting a place in your life where, okay, I am willing to make a change. I'm willing to look at things and do some things differently. And that's what fundamentally with all of these things that I talk about, that was the beginning where it all started.
And I know you have 5 transformations that you coach your one-on-one clients through. Do you want to tell us about those just real quick?
Absolutely. So having the courage to face your fear. When I went back to school, that was a big thing because I was still a single mom. I had the boys still at home. I was working a full-time job. And this program, I had to be in class at night, 2 nights a week. So it was a huge commitment, and just having the courage to face that fear and a fear of not being enough, not being able to measure up, I'm too old for this, all of that self-doubt, but one day at a time, I was able to show up and do those things that were in front of me. That's big. Following your heart. I mentioned that with the move to Florida. That was a total heart thing for me. I just followed where I wanted to go, and that
listened to the universe. Isn't that what you'd say?
I did. Absolutely. That's what I would say. As the next thing I would talk about would just be not listening to those limiting beliefs, like I mentioned with the health and the diet. So critical. What limiting belief are you telling yourself today? What is it that you're saying, oh, that can't happen, or that just is just not going to be that way? Those beliefs, it's amazing how just insidious they can be in our thinking and how we act and what we do. So, look at that within yourself. The next area, and I'm like, as I'm sitting here talking, now I'm like drawing a blank with my next thing. Oh boy. Being able to my 5th thing that I have on the list is, of course, love, opening my heart to love. We already talked about that. So I was missing that. We talked about it already. Number 4 was opening your heart to love. And then number 5 is again goes back to having the courage to again face the fear. I had a corporate job for many years in my career and worked with corporate leaders.
What did you do?
I was a project manager. I ran strategic initiatives for the company and worked with corporate leaders and and had the benefits and the paycheck and all of that was great. But I reached a point where there was, I needed something more. I wasn't going to be limited by someone who said, oh, well, that you don't really fit this promotion or you don't really fit with this team. Like, no, I am going to it's again, reclaiming my power. I took that back to say, if I'm going to be limited, it's going to come from within me and not somebody else telling me I can or can't do something or I don't do or do not have that type of value or whatever. So that was huge. So this is the chapter I'm writing right now. This is the first year of my business. I absolutely in this adventure, following my passion. I love working with women, helping them do the same things that I've done, overcome some challenges and bring that life to them that they want to live, that happiness, joy, and fulfillment.
How did you keep going when you reached your adversities or the challenges that came up? How did you keep going? How did you motivate yourself to want to strive for more?
Oh, such a great question, because this is something that is like a daily practice for me. So I have a morning ritual, if you will. I start with, meditation, that being quiet. I have, different spiritual readings. So I have my own, a spiritual life. That I 100% believe that there is a power greater than me and an energy that's healthy and beneficial that I can tap into, but I have to be open to that. And so that's part of it. And so I start with feeling that connection. And then as I go through the day, stuff happens, life shows up, I think it's in the pause. I take the pause, deep breath. A lot of times I have to physically step away. Like if I'm at my desk, I need to physically step away, take a break. And then there's a lot of stuff that you can read about, affirmations and kind of flipping that switch. And those are some things that help me. I do that. There's motivational books that I love to read. And I always can draw from those other women pioneers in business that have, been able to build and make a successful business. So I love to draw on their wisdom. But it is truly one day at a time, taking these little actions. If I look at everything in its entirety, it's overwhelming. It's too much. If I'm thinking, the end of the year, even the end of the year, it's like, oh, I can't get to the end of the year right now. I'm just in today, I'm here and I'm doing what I need to do today. And then I'll look at tomorrow. So it's so important to me, like keeping it in those small bites and just, that, and you've heard the expression, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? That's kind of, that's how I approach it.
So what do you recommend for anybody that's coming upon adversity right now in their life? And they're maybe they're going through a divorce, or maybe they just found out their husband's cheating on them, or maybe, they have a job change, they just got fired, or, things that might come up in our lives. What is the first thing that you would recommend that someone do when they're faced with something like that?
So first and foremost, I'd say you're not alone. Don't isolate. Don't keep it all in. Don't think that you have to figure it out by yourself. I'd say that's the number one thing. There are people in your life who love and support you. It may be a partner. It just may be a best friend. It may be a brother or sister. I don't know. But, everyone has somebody in their life that is there that they could lean on to help sort through stuff. I feel like that sense of connection is so critical in those times because, someone else looking from the outside in always can bring a different perspective and see something maybe that you're not seeing, have an idea that you didn't think of, and I just feel that that's the most important thing.
Well, I've always been really verbal with my friends and telling them what I'm going through and stuff like this. But do you feel like maybe you have to be a little bit careful of who you share too much with?
Sure. I think definitely.
What would you recommend about that?
Well, knowing that the person that you are talking to that is safe, I would certainly recommend that, you have a level of trust that's established, that you can talk to someone. It's like, I do think that's very important. And I think that what goes along with this is vulnerability. And that's scary for a lot of us. It's like not only did this really tough situation just happen, now I've got to be vulnerable and open myself up and talk about it. It's really hard. And I've been there. But what I can tell you is you can do hard things. You can, one step at a time, walk through any situation, and it's going to be okay. It is okay. And learning to have a faith and a trust that, things are going to work out, and all of that stuff has really been things that I've learned over time. There certainly wasn't a overnight switch where I'm like, oh, I got this. No, it has definitely been, through experience and my own trials and tribulations that I have really grown a lot, healed a lot, and feel like I have something that I can share with others.
Michelle, I know you're going to have a podcast coming up too.
Yes.
Now, tell us about your podcast, where we're going to be able to see it, what the name of it is.
Yes. So my podcast, Her Comeback, Transforming Your Life After 50. So I'm really excited about it. What it's going to be is a short podcast. I'll invite guests to my show, have a couple questions on a couple of different topics, and about 30 minutes, and that they'll be, and you'll be able to hear from other women, their story of how they've done things to transform areas of their life. It's just to be a community of growth and sharing, and I'm really excited about that. I'm a lot of the details are still in the making right now.
On the cutting room floor.
Yes, absolutely. That is it. So as those are available, I'm going to be sharing them with my community and with my followers. So please, by all means, go to my website, subscribe to my community, and you'll get my email updates and be able to get all of the details as those are ready to roll out.
We'll have Michelle's information down below. And please don't forget to like this podcast.
Yes.
Because if you're still watching it, I think you liked it.
That's
Subscribe to the Being Tracy channel.
Mm-hmm.
Post any questions or if you've worked with Michelle or if you've worked with a transformational coach, post those things that happen to you below and share it with somebody who might want to find a transformational coach. Now tell me this, is it covered by insurance, transformational life coach? Okay. So we're going to have your information below, but if someone out there wants some help of a transformational coach like you, and they're going to be watching your podcast for sure, but where else can they find information about people like this that can help them?
Well, I think there's a number of different resources out there. I think, any number of searches can come up with a list of resources, names, a lot of great books. I mean, I think it's about what you want to invest. It's like, how much is it worth to you to not be where you are today and to be in that spot where you want to be? How much is that worth to you?
Stay focused on what you want, on the life you want, right?
That's right.
Stay focused on happiness. I always say, stay focused on happiness, because if you see yourself happy, that means you have everything, right?
Right. That's right.
And how long do you meditate every morning?
About 30 minutes.
30 minutes. I wonder, because I do this nightly meditation where I listen to these meditations that are all night long on YouTube, and, and bringing whatever I want into my life as I'm sleeping sometimes. So it's a great thing to do too. But anyway, let me get right now to the real estate minute. And then James, I'm sure you have a question back there for Michelle. All right. Right now, I'm going to tell you about the U.S. real estate market versus Florida, because I know that's what you're wondering. We're here in Florida, and it was great here. We keep talking about how great it is here. But what is it like versus the United States of America? Well, while national real estate market continues to experience some cooling and adjustment following years of rapid growth, Florida remains one of the most vibrant and desirable places to live and invest. Across the U.S., rising interest rates have slowed activity slightly, but they've also opened new opportunities for buyers and investors who are ready to act strategically. In contrast, Florida's market continues to show resilience and strong appeal. Why, you may ask? Because population growth, Florida remains one of the fastest growing states in the country. People from across the U.S. are still relocating here in large numbers, drawn by the warm climate, tax advantages, and lifestyle. More people equals more demand for homes equals more stability in home values. Also, steady home values. While some U.S. markets are seeing price corrections, many areas in Florida are holding their value well, especially coastal cities, resort towns, and desirable retirement communities. Also, there's a lifestyle advantage. Beyond the numbers, living in Florida offers an unmatched quality of life. From year-round sunshine to beautiful beaches, golf courses, which we have plenty of here in Naples, and a slower pace if you want it. Florida offers something for everyone that alone keeps demand high. Also, business and investment appeal. With no state income tax, business-friendly policies, and booming industries like tech, healthcare, and tourism, Florida is not just a place to retire, it is a place to thrive. So in summary, I'm going to make 2 minutes today. While the U.S. market is rebalancing, Florida continues to attract buyers, renters, and investors who recognize its long-term value and lifestyle perks. Whether you're buying your forever home or investing in a vacation property, Florida still feels like a right move because it is. Now, why did you choose Florida when you came down from North Carolina?
I love the beach. I love the warm weather. North Carolina still has some cold weather, so I needed to come further south to get to the continual warm weather. I love it.
Now, James, do you have any questions for Michelle?
But
Or about
of
real
course.
estate?
But of course. I'm going to quote you,
Okay.
and I want you to elaborate on one piece that I think you left out.
Okay.
You talked about transforming yourself, and you said transformation happens one step at a time.
Yes.
You can recreate your life, discover joy, happiness, purpose, and fulfillment. It says if you've ever felt there has to be more than this, there is.
Yes.
Here's what I'd like you to elaborate on. The last sentence that you put was that, and it's just outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Many of us are unwilling to step outside of our comfort zone. So why don't you elaborate on that for just a little bit? I'd like to hear you.
Well, I think that, as long as we stay in what's comfortable, we're doing the usual thing. It's status quo. Like, as long as you continue in those actions, doing those actions in that space, and that's what you're going to get, and it's only when you can take an action that's outside of that. So it's about embracing the fear, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be scared, but do it anyway. Taking that step of doing something. There's another statement out there. If you want something you never had, you have to do things you've never done. And I think that is so true. And I know that resonates with me in my life. I have to, getting out of my comfort zone means doing things I've never done and just going with the fear, having the courage and knowing that it's okay. And one way or the other, whether it's a success or failure, I get life lessons from it. I learn, and it makes me a better person and better human. So it's still a win-win.
My sister always says, feel the pain.
Yes.
Because she always says there's a lot of good that comes from the pain that you're in. I went through a lot of pain when I was moving from Miami to Boca to Palm Beach until I came here to Naples. I've been through a lot of pain, and she was always like, Tracy, are you feeling pain? Feel the pain. Feel that pain. Feel how bad that feels. Think about that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's true. Pain has been a great motivator in my life. Yeah. It's like I'm feeling the pain. I want the pain to stop. Let me do something different to stop the pain. It's
right.
True.
What were we going to say, James?
I was telling them that I've put up for them that they can get 5 powerful shifts to recreate their life by going to your website.
Yes.
The website is up there.
Yes.
And so if they want to get some information and get started, they can go to your website to do that, correct?
Absolutely. Please take advantage of that free PDF file that you can use to start your journey.
Thank you, James. That's awesome. I'm
It
so
is.
glad you're always right on top of our guests, James, and making sure we don't miss anything.
Yes.
Anyway, well, do you have anything else to say? Or James, do you have anything else to add?
I'm just very delighted that you had me to be here today.
I'm so glad it worked out too. This
Yes.
is just so exciting.
Yes.
And thank you for tuning in. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to this channel. Like it, because if you like it, if you're watching it, I think you still like it. And send it to someone else who might like it. Okay. We love you guys and we're sending lots of love. If you don't have a realtor and you want to have some information about moving to Florida or moving anywhere else in the U.S., please find my information down below too. And I'd be happy to connect you with someone who can help you. And if you don't have anybody, I'd be happy to help you. What were you going to say?
No, I was just pointing at you. Talk to you. You're the
Talk to me. Anyway, I'm here to help you guys. I love you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone.